world seems harsh for an entrepreneur just starting out, with many difficult tasks like finding investors, gathering funds, nurturing a team, and building a product. Founders often are found overwhelmed and directionless. To relieve this tension, we at Goodfirms conducted interviews with successful IT companies and discussed trending topics as well as their impact on the IT industry. So, without any further ado, let's dive into the conversation. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another yet interesting episode of the Goodfirms Leaders Roundtable podcast. We bring in a new speaker every episode to talk about topics that confuse many budding entrepreneurs and leaders out there. I'm your host, Suhana Bhattacharya, and today we have on the podcast Mitul Makadia. Mitul is a true technophile with his industry experience over the last 12 years. He has rapidly built a successful IT company called Maruti Techlabs. For Maruti Techlabs, Mitul is a true techno business leader who provides technical solutions to customers and to his team members as well. Also, apart from building products for customers, Mitul has scaled 2 products of his own, WotNot and Alertly. So thank you so much, Mitul, for joining us today. Anything that you'd like to add to the introduction that I might have missed?
Suhana, thanks for a really comprehensive introduction. I think you covered everything, so probably we can jump to the topic.
Okay, that's great. And seeing your experience and the heights that Maruti Techlabs and the other products that you have achieved, we can't help but discuss about a topic which is so in trend right now: how to build a futuristic software development company and what actually goes behind it. So in today's time, we all prefer to use various kinds of software for our needs, right? And as demands are rising, it won't be that long that we see so many software development companies. According to a few reports, the number of software development companies will reach to almost 1 million by 2027, and that is an insane number. So why starting a software development startup is becoming so popular now?
Definitely, that's a great question. So there has been tremendous unpredictability and uncertainty in recent years due to this ongoing pandemic thing. However, IT sector has prospered and offer a lot more opportunities, and I believe it is going to experience a faster growth in years to come. Now, if you look at this 2022, then the IT spending for the enterprise software companies is expected to touch around 675 billion globally, and that's, I think, a growth of around 11% compared to the last year, which is pretty big. And market has expanded significantly in recent time, and that's why users are requiring more powerful mobile apps and great products and software solutions. Now, if you just look at the revenue front, then in just last year, the combined revenue of these giants, Google and Apple Store, was around 49 billion, and the product design and development services was almost $8.6 billion in 2021. Which is again a growth of almost 13% between 2022 to 2030 is projected. So this shows, this number shows that there is an increasing demand from the companies to go online and find the firms which can create apps, build software. So definitely there is a huge opportunity lying there that needs to be tapped. And provided if you have a great experience, then starting a software company would definitely going to be more popular.
Right. And like you mentioned, that this pandemic forced more people to use softwares, and also on the other end developed so many need for new solutions that could bridge the gap, that could tap the market which was not yet tapped right now. Right?
Yep.
Right. So you did mention that provided you have the right experience, so starting a software development company is a good step. So what are those significant pain points and obstacles for software development firms, and how can they be overcome?
Sure. So as any market grows bigger, you need to find a very specific niche, and that applies to software also. Previously, software was pretty basic and non-market, so people were more doing everything. But now, as it is becoming bigger and bigger, you need more dedicated focus. So that's why I feel like software development companies needs to take a more focused approach instead of one size fit all. That way, they need to figure out their own core needs and competencies. Maybe it can be based on like technology or vertical. So once they identify that, they need to create a business strategy around it. If you fail to leverage technology and process as a foundation of your service delivery model, you are definitely going to miss out the opportunity to stay competitive in the market. Many companies I have seen fail because of inability to leverage this, technology and process. So that's why solid governance framework is needed to make sure that you are structurally strong to survive and grow. Make sure that you help your client to see success and guide them to achieve that success. And you don't want to be a vendor just doing what is being told to you. Instead, like, you need to make your customers successful. You need to guide them. You need to optimize their spend. And if they are successful, they will spend a lot more with you. And that's a win-win situation for both. So ultimately, your customer success is your success.
Right, and the points that you mentioned is certainly something that new entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs should note down. That one is they should have a niche, they should focus on a niche, and second is also they should help their clients see their success. Paint a picture that is the end goal will look like this, right?
Definitely. I mean, we have seen many instances due to this boom that companies offering just what customer asks, and lots of money is spent on building something which doesn't result in a significant value, and then you end up having very bad situation. So ultimately, every dollar invested should be resulting in some ROI, and if it doesn't do that, then ultimately that dollar flow will stop. So ultimately, you need to keep delivering something that can make your future revenue more secure.
Right. And like I said, there are many soft IT startups coming in the market. So obviously there's a fierce competition in between them. So how can a software startup company differentiate itself when there are so many IT companies out there? How can one differentiate that I am doing this, which is better than my competitors?
Sure, definitely. So differentiating yourself constantly from the market is the most important thing that we have been doing recently. So it's just like you cannot differentiate yourself based on your features or offerings or the engagement model, because I feel like those are like more traditional things now. Instead, like you need to differentiate, continuous commitment and honesty to provide excellent customer experience, and automatically it will result in great experience. If we concentrate on just providing best service possible to our client, partners and employees and vendors, everything else will take care on its own. So it's like, of course, we need to maintain tabs on the state of the industry as a whole and the changing dynamics. To continue in the game, I would advise aiming to make all the efforts to ensure your customers succeed. And once you do that, you will be successful. So it's like you just need to make sure you keep delivering to the expectation of your customers and partners, and rest will automatically in the place.
Right. And as an entrepreneur who is just starting out, they might have a new idea in their head, but to pitch that idea to someone and to get it from their head onto the world and execute it flawlessly, it is a major challenge. So can you discuss this specific point with our audience on your process when you have a new software idea and how to get it from your head to the world? It's exactly the way it should be.
Yeah, I mean, I can easily recall, all the situations through my mind as you ask this question. So we have been dealing with long-term customers, and everything started with the exact same problem that you asked. So, like, we do. I mean, I'm just going through an example. So our customer was having a call center, and then they were having tons of calls every day received by the customer support staff. And even though they scaled their call center in Pakistan and like Vietnam and I think Philippines, they were still having sort of people because of peak load in the US time. Even though deploying tons of people, their customer experience was not improving. And then we observed that problem, and then we came up with a different solution using chatbot, where chatbot was solving the problem of talking with tons of customers at a time. So as a result of that solution, customers abandon rate of the calls drastically reduced and the quality of service improved. And then as a result of that, our own product called WotNot born. That is live right now and being used by more than 3,000 customers right now. And we are ranked pretty high in, I think, G2's high performer and momentum leader category. So basically, like we go deep into the customers by talking with them, their stakeholders, and then come up with a solution and then implement it to make sure that we can execute everything flawlessly.
Right. And this was something that I didn't know about WotNot, that it was a product that was made for someone to solve their problem and it then was used as a product of your own.
Yeah, I mean, the most software product that starts with a customer problem definitely survives and thrives because they have a particular problem at the center of it goal.
Right. So now established IT firms who have been in the market for a very long time, they can spend a lot of money on marketing. But this is not the same with IT startups that are just entering the market. So what are some other marketing tactics that can help organizations that are just starting out?
Right, definitely. So as a like business, marketing spend is always something you need to be very much in control with. So you need to come up with a very unique ideas, and we have tried and tested a few things that has worked for us. So I would just like quickly go over those things. The first is SEO and content marketing. So we have witnessed that certain of our blog has witnessed a huge traffic and ended up in like sizable amount of leads compared to paid ads. So you get to decide keywords that you want to rank on consistently to attract new traffic, drive on their website, and make sure that the content across the funnel to help your readers with a high value content which is more insightful. So what helps people helps business, and that's a sentence from Leo Burnett, where it exactly applies to us on many of the blogs that we have witnessed. Another thing is customer reviews. I was just part of one of the customers interview recently. So customer reviews are very important, and if you collect them credibly and legitimately, the customers' trust in your company will really help you to get new customers. Another thing we recently started was customer interviews. That really has been beneficial about getting the direct insights. Then we can always repurpose that with a small snippets and then float it across the social media to gain their attention. And since it's from the customer side, it has lots of trust compared to your typical marketing collateral. So customer interviews has been really beneficial to us. And then I see there are lots of listicles there where you can list your content and where your customer typically goes there to browse their needs, or if they are keeping themselves updated. So listed on listicles is really helpful. Now once you have the traffic on the website and someone is reading on your blog, you may want to have CRO. So those CRO tools can definitely catch the people who may exit the content without talking with you. So those pop, if you put them smartly, that can really capture the reader's attention. And we have seen good number of high quality being captured through CRO tools. So previously I was of an opinion that it doesn't give you a positive feeling, that this pop-ups really doesn't help and it hurts more. But after experimenting, I feel that if you put it in right way, it can really help you. Then another thing is chatbots. Of course, like we are in the business of chatbots, so I'm not just advocating because it's our product, but it's like 58% of the companies in the world using the chatbot for B2B services. And then it is improving their conversion rate by 33%. These are the statistics, okay? So it really helps, and I really recommend that do try out WotNot if you are going to get started with chat.
Right.
And one of the last thing that we tried is referral marketing. So ultimately, lifetime value of referred customer is like I think 16% more than a direct or non-referred customer, and companies with referral program experience I think 86% more revenue compared to the ones who don't. So by incentivizing referral, you are building a solid base, and this has like really worked well for us. So it's like if you have yourself a customer, then try to get their referrals, and then the overall sales cycle also reduces significantly because of this marketing.
Right. And not only for a development company, but for any new business, gaining the first client is so critical. And the first client is actually the most precious one, right?
Definitely, yeah. And you need to do anything and everything to leverage them to get the next customer.
Right. So what lessons did you take away from that first assignment that you did that helped you succeed, bag that first client?
So with first customer, like the biggest lesson was like try to deliver your lesson quickly as soon as you can, so they can realize your potential. And with software, it's amendable. So you can always optimize and enhance as you move. but time to market is very important. So I still recall the first project that I got. It was for their one of the marketing demonstration, and then they went to, they were going for expo, and they wanted to show their orders in real time on Google Earth, and they had just a day to put that on the main booth TV screen. And they asked me, hey, can you do this? I said, yeah, definitely I can do that. They say, we want it real time. So when we say real time, as order comes, I want to show it. And I say, yeah, that's exactly what I mean. And then we did it, and they got really good reception. But the quick response time really helped me to, convince the customer. And then over the course, like we build a huge team for that same customer. Still, I and that CEO of that company recall that, hey, how did we got in touch, and how that relationship proved more than, I think, 12 years now.
Okay, that's great. Like having a client for that long amount of time and still having such a good contact is very precious, very great to have, a great quality to have. So acquiring clients typically is easier than getting clients internationally, because entrepreneur knows the target market and has network. So, but in the IT industry, I think it's as important to get international clients as clients who lie domestically. So how can one get clients offshore or in unexplored markets?
Many entrepreneurs ask this very common question and I can assure you that finding client in a strange new area is not impossible. The world is a lot more connected nowadays. The key is understanding your clients' needs and wants. If you educate yourself on their business and take the time to understand their customers and their challenges and their problems, you are already on the right track. You must ensure that the client acquisition and your value proposition are in lockstep. This provides mutual fit, and the client has right partner and you have right client. This paves the way for successful partners. Secondly, establish an effective internal and external governance process. You must also manage the potential commercial and legal risk and be transparent with your clients. This will ensure that both parties are on same page. This goes without saying, but you must obtain sufficient knowledge and the insight into the outsourcing, define outsourcing strategy with clear goals and objectives, and as for both transition and steady state. Treating your client as if they are from your home market will only frustrate you. Treat them like another human being with a unique perspective, challenges, and struggles. You will find them easier to talk and understand. So it's like all about you need to prepare yourself that they are like different, and then still you need to accept the way they work and their challenges and struggles. So I think that's definitely doable. And once you are in this industry, it's not easy to get into this kind of situation.
Exactly. So as we are talking about unexplored markets and the technology is very much changing right now. So what unexplored opportunities do you see as we move towards technologies like AR, VR, or chatbot development, or you have a chatbot called WotNot. So this is something which is helping people, helping businesses right now, but this is a new technology which many startups don't really understand. So what are those unexplored opportunities they must see to keep a firm foot in the market?
We are indeed living in the really exciting time. The next generation of the technology is like virtual reality, like chatbot, whatever you're saying. Then there is an opportunity around augmented reality, guided travel, augmented reality navigation and routes, and improving the museum experience with augmented and virtual reality. So there's lots of possibility with these upcoming new technologies. If you look at the chatbots, then the most exciting unexplored opportunities would be plugging the chatbot with computer vision and NLP to drive more business decisions. For example, like one of our clients from insurance sector, they had a problem with claim processing, and we built a chatbot for them on the customer facing, where instead of reaching out to the customer service representative, it would directly customer would directly talk with chatbot, and then after entering this policy number, they can raise the claim request, and by uploading the photos from the computer vision, it can detect the damaged intensity of the car using the chatbot, and then finally it can calculate the damage. So everything that probably claim adjuster and customer support would do, it's combinedly done by a chatbot. And this results in a lot better customer engagement, more productiveness for the employees, and then most importantly, a lot better business outcome for the customer. So it can reduce cost significantly and same time makes entire process a lot more faster. Chatbots have so many other use cases also. In recent years, the healthcare and medical organizations have been opting for state-of-art AI chatbots to help them with the best possible service to the patients and customers. A WhatsApp chatbot can help for a quick symptom assessment, booking the doctor's appointment, get the laboratory reports or daily health tips can be delivered every morning, medical reminders, addressing FAQs and mental health counseling. So basically, any one-to-one interaction that is happening right now and it's more monotonous or through a standard knowledge base can be easily automated via chatbot, considering the recent advancement in AI. And we have witnessed all these things, what I'm saying. So like definitely this is proving a lot more value to the businesses which are having this kind of problems.
Right. Now, I would really ask an more of an insider kind of question. Like, could you share an expert of one of your exciting projects summarizing the challenges that you face or lesson learned and some takeaways for our audience as well?
Sure. One of the most exciting projects we recently completed was for a client that offers customer service and marketing lead support to political parties. The client was looking to build a predictive model to identify the source of on the other side of the call. They wanted to save time and company resources by routing only human answered calls to the appropriate agents. And a team of data scientists developed a Python-based predictive model that could predict the audio characteristic as if whether the call is from human or non-human, with a very high success rate and with a very low response time. I think it was probably around 500 milliseconds. So that was like one of the very interesting use case. Another project, if I recall, it was machine learning based sales forecasting model for auto parts company and based in California. The client was facing the challenge of figure out the right stocking strategy. So when you deal with parts, there are tons of variety of part, and you want to make sure that you are not inventorying parts too much that doesn't sell fast, while you don't understock part that sells like too much. So with our AI model, we gave them a right prediction where they can identify that which part should be stocked in what way. In my opinion, these are the most important takeaways of this project. The first is the data we use has to be rich enough to drive the project forward. And the second is qualitative data that can be just as valuable as quantitative data when making decisions and getting work done. Moreover, conducting audits to assess overall maturity and data quality starting any project ensures you don't lose the time on the project that you cannot afford at the time of project execution. Identify the most promising use cases, outlining the project's scope, roadmap, and goals in the process. It helps organization to assess the potential and maturity of AI before initiating any.
Right. And any company that is starting out, employees are its backbone. So what advice do you have for new entrepreneurs on creating a workplace environment, creating the foundation of a workplace environment? Because things are changing and we are entering the world of Gen Zs, and they do prefer a workplace that is challenging, it's a mix of workplace that is challenging and also creative and gives that kind of respect. So what advice do you have for new entrepreneurs?
So the generation we are dealing with right now is highly creative, and they are really mission oriented. They are very tech savvy, and you need to expect their work to be well facilitated with technology. Thus, providing the updated technology and digital workplace tools to your staff is very essential. Create a collaborative environment for them to boost the productivity, offer them working hours, provide them relevant trainings. This is we have already implemented at Maruti Techlabs successfully, and we have attracted and retained this generation of talent very well. For many generations, they're working for a company that positively impacts the community, cares about its employees, and values authentically greatly matters. We strive to tick these boxes to remain really competitive for our talent.
Right. And what you mentioned, that creating a collaborative environment is something that Gen Zs are more attracted to, right?
Yep.
Right. So last but definitely not the least, that as a founder, what are those lessons you wish you had known before starting your own company? And our listeners would love to know that from a person who's been leading Maruti Techlabs for 12 years and have so many successful products. So, what are those lessons which you didn't know but you wish the other new entrepreneurs?
Definitely, that's a very good question, and let me just quickly give a thought. So, me being, coming from engineering background, the first advice I would give to any people who are starting, like, me as an engineering background, marketing your product is equally important as, you engineer the product. So, it needs to go hand in hand with engineering. Second is make it as easy as possible for your customer to work with you and stay with you. Third would be don't assume that you can't aim big. So you need to be ambitious. Pay attention to small things, cross your T's and dot your I's. And the last would be have solid processes in place for everything. So there is absolutely no leakage.
Right. And these are some golden points which hope our listeners really focus on before they start out. So thank you so much, Mitul, for sharing your valuable insights of your journey, of your experience. And I'm sure our listeners, I got to learn a lot about the product, about the various kinds of projects that Maruti Tech Labs have worked on. So thank you so much for giving in your time here.
Thank you, Sona, and thanks for setting this up. I hope this will be useful for your audience.